Hello friends! Well, we're going to do a little more sleuthing. So today we're going to look at if McAfee was mostly the guy. I have a feeling that, out of all of them, they had different jobs. And I think we're going to find out who did what. But I have a feeling that McAfee was the one who was mostly involved in doing the code and the actual structure of Bitcoin. I think Princess Diana brought it in with Hal Finney. They spoke. I think that's why they're the king and queen of wands. I think Assange was doing communications and was giving them the ability to speak to one another. He probably was, I don't know, maybe helping a little bit with the coding, but I think his mostly was communications and safety and secretiveness, security, things of that nature. But I think McAfee was in on that too, obviously. Look at the software that has his name. But anyway, so I just want to know something about McAfee and his capacity in this. I think he was mostly involved in the coding. So we'll see. I am peaceful and one with the earth. That's good. I'm glad. He needs to be peaceful. And as far as being in synchronicity, I totally think he was, which is what the problem was, is they don't want us to be in synchronicity, and I think he was completely in synchronicity, and that was a real issue for everybody else. Poor guy. Anyway. Okay. You have such a bright light inside. Stop dimming it. That's him. Bright light. Okay. What are the shamanic healing cards gonna tell us about this question? About coding? Oh yeah. Hang on. Let's get to the right place. Ugh, this is awful. The stupid phone. Okay. I apologize. I apologize. Alright, here we are. At least we've got it now. Oh, I wish it was a book. I hate that it's on my phone. That's my own stuff. That's my own triggers. I just love books. Always have, always will. I'm always surrounded by books. Anyway. Feminine energy. Well, how interesting. That's receptive. That's passive. Okay, let's read about feminine energy as though we have never read that before. So it's new, but it isn't really. Oh my. Whoops. Always when you're in a hurry, right? Darkness, the moon, the tides, the quiet gestation before the chaos, the void. These are all aspects of feminine energy, passive, waiting, gestating, and nurturing. It is the opposite of the prior card, so very different, yet the perfect companion. Perhaps you have yet to find your feminine side. The life you are leading right now has given you opportunities to embrace this part of you. But between the two opposing energies, feminine energy is the harder one to embrace. It requires trust and a lack of fear. Trust that all is as it should be, and the absence of fear of things not getting done. Perhaps in the past you had been hurt when you were embracing your feminine energy, physically or mentally. This was the free will of the person who hurt you. It was not caused by being who you were. Do not let the actions of another dictate who you need to be. Examine your feminine side. Become friends with her again. Alternatively, this card represents an important woman in the seeker's life. Well, that's already coming out. Very interesting. An important woman. I guess we'll have to keep our eye out for her. Well, we know he was married. I don't know, married. I thought it was a girlfriend, but it might have been his wife. But apparently there's an important woman somewhere. We'll see. We'll see what the cards say. This is about coding. So, was he functionally responsible for the code and the function of the program? Was he the guy who was putting it down? I don't know. They say Hal Finney also had the capacity, and, so did Assange. That's why they were on the short list. Okay. Anyway, let's see what we get. Alright, McAfee, tell us the story of how you were involved in the Bitcoin operation. What were you coding? Was there something else we need to know? Uh-oh, Page of Cups. Page of Cups. So, in his emotions, which is consistent with feminine. Yeah, well, and if he was a balanced person, and a bright light, he would be able to handle his emotions. He'd be very comfortable sitting in a sea of emotions with a smile on his face and a cup in his hand. Yeah. He was very emotionally mature and comfortable in turbulent situations. He had embraced his feminine and accepted it and balanced his energies. What was crossing him? The Empress. Interesting. So, I don't know if that's a person, or if that's, him being his feminine self. I don't know. Let's see what the reading keeps saying. Where is he coming from? Decisions, having to make a choice, decide, or, say, I'm going to go a different way, but working it out with a blindfold. There's the moon. So not everything is known. The goal. King of Wands, yeah, I want to be that guy. He was that guy. As far as I'm concerned, this is how I see him. He was out there, he was dynamic, he was magnetic, he was successful. But sometimes the King of Wands, they can get in a little trouble. Let's see. But he's not an upside down King of Wands, but the whole deck was upside down, so I flipped it. Going to Seven of Wands? Yeah, Seven of Wands. So, trickery, deceit, betrayal. Well, yeah, but who is he betraying? He was betraying the bad guys. I think he came up from the bad guys, which kind of explains the King of Wands, but that could be astrological as well. He could be Sagittarius energy. Yeah, I think this is having that in his history, but also having those skills. It's not showing up as skills, so let's see, tools. Knowing about having a strong family, having trusted people around him, being in a secure place. Interesting then that shows up as tools. Oh, maybe because he had already been plucked out. Maybe he had already made contact. I don't know. Let's keep going here. How does he see himself? He sees himself as the world. So, like a new beginning, end of a cycle, a whole new way to be. Which, yeah, I could see that after he figured things out, that happened. I don't know, let's see. Environment. Yeah, equal give and take. Um, Generosity. Hopes and fears. Swords. Six of Swords. So, moving out of troubled water. Moving away from bad things and into good things. Final outcome. Yeah, truth. The Ace of Swords. Truth. Well, this mostly talks about his extraction and maybe maybe this is Princess Diana. I don't know. But let's see. Okay, at home in his emotions, challenged by the Empress. Big female energy. Maybe she's a person. I kind of get the feeling she's a person. But who? Wife, girlfriend? Mother? Kind of feel like mother. Okay, coming from a this or that. Hoping to be the King of Wands. Coming from treachery and betrayal. Knowing there's a better way, and the tools are that he understands, because he's emotional, he understands what it's like to have a good family and to be happy with others and to belong. That's, mostly belonging, being part of something good. I always kind of got the feeling that he was, kind of walking the line of the dark side. But I don't know. It seems like he had, a good, strong upbringing. I'm kind of getting that from this. Because he shows up as the Page of Cups. And he has such a strong feminine influence on him. Maybe that's where his moral center was developed. Oh, I'll bet you that was it. That's what developed his moral center. A strong feminine, comfortable in his feminine energy. Because these are good cards. These are, end of a cycle and beginning a whole new thing. Maybe he was just young at the time and he was looking to make his mark. It was finally equal give and take. It was a fair deal. Moving away from troubled water, getting them away from the bad guys, and moving them into the Ace of Swords, which is, divine inspiration, but also like truth and the side of right. So it doesn't really say anything about what his function was, but it's how he turned things around. Maybe he was a good guy who was kind of being tempted into the darker side of life, society, because society is tempting. And he is kind of the King of Wands, so, he's magnetic, dynamic, interested, motivated. He's got a lot of energy. He's, sexy guy. So, that makes sense. But this is mostly about his experience, his his experience of what maybe, I don't know, his experience. It seems like this reading is more about his experience of being a bright light, being peaceful, embracing his feminine energy, being able to love, being able to cry, being able to feel things deeply and yet be in control of them, sexy and dynamic publicly, equal give and take, moving away from troubled water. Maybe this was an opportunity for him to really cement himself on the side of good. I was thinking that was Assange's story, but maybe it is also, or it is McAfee's story. A win-win outcome is forecast. Yeah, it could be that he was in a situation where this was very helpful for him too, and it really kind of saved his life. That's kind of the energy I'm getting. Full moon in Libra is also about, equal give and take, relationships. Those are... that's the sense I'm getting here. A win-win outcome is forecast. The full moon in Libra, a sign of partnerships, see? Of falling in love and of closely relating to someone else. Since full moons are about climaxes and conclusions, this card suggests you're either about to start a new relationship or that an important existing relationship is changing somehow, perhaps coming to an end or moving to a new level of commitment. It's important to remember that people come to us for a reason and sometimes just for a season. If a relationship is ending now, it's doing so at the right time, so try not to fight it. This card can also refer to a professional relationship. There is a sense that you need to balance your ego with someone else's needs. A win-win outcome is possible with give and take. Doing so might be the answer to your question, letting go of that which is falling away. See other people through the eyes of love. It will change your perspective. It's time for you to make a firm decision. Time for you to focus on yourself for a while. Look after yourself, but avoid vanity. Now is a great time for a makeover. No matter when you pull a full moon in Libra card, it encourages you to find a balance between your desires and those of the people around you. Balance is a very Libran energy, and the full moon brings things to a peak. Dramas and upsets bring partnerships to the fore. Libra energy also brings love energy. Negotiations are easier. That's a big sense of what I'm getting here with this whole reading about McAfee. And I didn't see him as that, but that doesn't rule out that he wasn't that. It just shows us that he was far more complex than we could ever guess by his public appearance. But, if he was a programmer, he also spent many, many hours alone. And, at the computer, alone at the computer. So, you have that much time to sit around and wait for things to download and upload and, this and that. You get a lot of time to think about stuff. And I think that's where this all happened. There was a lot of thinking involved. But, I see him as a very dynamic man, so I don't see this feminine energy thing at all as threatening. There's the bear. Oh, bear, oh, bear. Nope, we're already too far. Bear. Waking from spiritual slumber, beginning anew. After a long winter, the bear arises from a deep slumber. At first, the movement and effort are difficult, but the bear knows it's time to awaken and move toward the dawning light. The bear card represents an individual on the cusp. Yeah, an individual. But look at the enlightenment above his head. An individual on the cusp of new directions and personal transformation. The initial weeks and months of the spiritual guest may feel tricky, cumbersome, and full of obstacles, but you have no choice. bear. Winter wanes, the warmth of spring emerges, and your transformation begins. Inner strength, the yearning to grow. Well, what it is telling us is that this experience allowed him to grow in a big way. That's the big message here. There was already a strong foundation, but I think what happened is as he worked with people that were better quality and more of his caliber, he really opened up and things became very different and a whole new world opened up for him. And the fact that he had the camaraderie of this group of people really changed his life dramatically. And I think that's, it was a win-win for everybody. I mean, literally. It was a win-win to be involved. It was a win-win to release it. And now we are feeling the win-win of being the beneficiaries of everything that they did for us. So that's a pretty amazing reading. I don't know. All of these readings, whatever the truth is of the situation, they're still bringing out a lot of good information. So they're worth looking at. Even if you just learn from them. Maybe this is fiction. Who knows? But I'm getting these, I'm being compelled to do these readings. So I don't know what to tell you. That's that. Okay, thank you. Like, share, subscribe if you would hit the notification bell. But mostly just keep watching, because this is interesting stuff coming out, and like I said, you could learn from it. Thank you. See you tomorrow.